Do, 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 do. Right. Well, hello, guys. Right. Here supporting you in your Amazon business. If you don't know who I am, my name is Thomas Parkinson. I'm just going to go live to support you. If you guys got any questions, do drop them down below. Obviously, I will be here to help. Give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to check. We've got some people coming on. Oh my God, Jesse V has already beaten me to it. Hi Jesse, how are you getting on? My God, I was up last night. It's right now 6 o'clock in the morning. I was up to 1 o'clock in the morning interviewing, so it was super busy. Very little sleep. So I'm like, oh. Jesse, let me know if you have any questions. If anyone's got any questions, do drop your questions down below. Questions down below. I have this week at the moment. Actually, we have an interview coming out with a good friend of mine, Gavin Sweeney. You'll see it is on my YouTube channel, and he. I'm just gonna put that down there. Drop your questions down below. So, guys, if you're here, do drop those questions down. I'm just gonna check that we're going live on the gram. Is that live now? We'll just see if that's working. Yeah, I can see myself on here. If you guys are drawing or on Instagram, drop your comments down below. I can see it, and there we go. It's now just loading up on here, so we can actually see it coming in. Obviously, it's a slightly different color, but it's all right. It's working. Oh, don't want to be loading that up. So that's fine. So obviously loaded up on the Instagram. So if you guys on Instagram, I can see you down there. So guys, if you've got questions, do drop them down below. Jesse says hi. Hey Jesse, any questions I can let me know. AJ says hi. Gig says hi. Let me know. Obviously, got your questions down below. I'll kind of give you an update. Interviewed Gavin last week. Actually, it's gone live now, and really good interview just in regards to around the differences between selling on Amazon UK versus USA, and from the perspective of doing OA. Absolutely love that. So if you are thinking about maybe do I look at the UK, do I look at the USA, I'm not really too sure which one I should do, then I would really recommend checking that out, checking that interview out. That is from Gavin Sweeney, who I should say a friend of mine I've met many times. He comes over to Mexico City now. He travels a lot, and he sold both on the UK and USA, and talks about his experience and what is going on. So kind of jump through some other questions just coming in. I'll see if you guys are on Instagram. I can see you. Jay says hi Tom. Hey Jay, good to see you. I've got some coffee. Need to be staying awake. Old Bab says hey. There he is. How are you doing, Tom? Sorry, yeah, I probably went to bed about 5 hours ago. It's just because I had an interview with someone from the UK and they're actually in somewhere else, and it's a bit of a nightmare. And obviously I'm in Philippines right now, so I had a bit of a delay. I'm also waking up this morning. I was like, ah, it's so hard. I can't wait to be back on Mexico time. So obviously it's in the middle of the afternoon. So really looking forward to that. Let's go through. So Geely says, hey Tom, how are you doing? Can you explain what EFN is? So EFN, I'm doing well, by the way. I'll jump straight into your question. EFN, European Fulfillment Network. Now, EFN is, oh, Kimbros, hey, over there. Canberra, sorry, get it right, Tom. EFN is European Fulfillment Network. So at a very fundamental level, the way it works is you hold your stock within your home country's warehouse. Now, for you, if you're in the UK, it will generally be the UK, but it could be if you're selling from France, it's selling France or Germany, for example. So you hold it in one warehouse, and then what Amazon will do is Amazon will list the products or allow you to list your products on other marketplaces within the European fulfillment network, so who have FBA, and then customers can buy that product on Germany, for example, and then it will get shipped from the UK to German customer. Now, you don't need to register for VAT straight away until you've reached the VAT threshold of that country. I think France is the lowest, about 35,000, but it is another way to increase sales. It is another way to increase the market and go into the USA. But the one thing I will say is that we don't do it. And I've seen it with a lot of people whereby it's a good opportunity if you want to do it, but it's just more administration, it's more work. And yes, it will grow your sales, and it is free money, as people call it. But it's just been a bit of we found that actually it's easier not doing it. We've been able to scale quicker and faster that way. So we took the decision to turn it off. But EFN, European Fulfillment Network, basically holding stock in your home country, i.e. the UK, listing it on the European marketplaces, France, Italy, Germany, and Spain. And then obviously when the customer buys it from Germany, Amazon will ship it from the UK to the customer in Germany. Hope that makes sense. The only other big issue you have as well is the customer returns the item, it only gets returned back to the German warehouse, or should we say, if it gets returned to their local warehouse, not back to UK. Once it's in Germany, you then have to get it back to the UK yourself. How? I don't know. That's obviously a problem for you to figure out, but we don't do it. So I hope that makes sense. Hi, Tom, Jesse. Hey, Jesse. Hi, Tom. Good morning here. Let's kind of quickly jump through onto Instagram. Can you, Camberus said, can you be successful on Amazon no matter where you live? I don't see why not. I live on online, like I live anywhere in the world. I know lots of sellers all around the world. They do a really good job, and I think that's something to really think about. So you can definitely be successful. I don't think the problem comes is that you're unsuccessful because of where you're located. There are a couple of countries you can't sell from, for example, North Korea, but I don't see why not. So Canberra us on Instagram and ads FBA. Let me know if that answers your question down below. Hey, ads FBA and Freebo Franto. Jesse V says, hey Tom, I just want to ask, do you use different prep centers and architecture sell essential? Would there be an issue with Amazon if the items are coming from different locations? No, not at all. Oh God, just think about it. Like if you're a multi-million-dollar company, obviously we already are, like if you're doing hundreds of millions a year, oh, pardon me. Yawning. If you're a multi-million-dollar, then I think the question comes is you will have naturally shipments coming in from Amazon from probably multiple locations. If you just had two warehouses, one in the north of England, one in the south, then you would be shipping from those warehouses into Amazon. I think that's a really important point. So Amazon doesn't mind. Like I think at some point we've used three prep centers in the UK, no issue. And obviously, what you might have, by the way, multiple addresses. You might have a prep center and a home address. So you're definitely going to ship from two addresses. It's no problem. And other people say, what if I have a prep center connected to my Amazon Seller Central account? Am I going to get suspended because the prep centers are multiple accounts? They are secondary users, absolutely fine. There's no problem with them at all. So I wouldn't worry about that. That's something that I wouldn't worry about having multiple prep centers, multiple addresses. I hope that makes sense. Jesse V, let me know if there's any other questions you're worried about around that, like is there anything specific maybe I haven't answered, but let me know. Let's go through. Old Bab said, do you do EFN? I don't. We don't do EFN. Again, we just found it as extra revenue for no real extra work, so we kind of said no, we're not going to do that. That's not something we. It's just an extra administration for no extra work, so we stopped it. And we took off to over a million, did 3 million. So yeah, no, we don't. I know some people do. Liam Tucker, hey Liam, let me know how I can help you if there's any questions at all. Should I quickly jump over on Instagram? Guys, over on Instagram, I can see you over here. So I am Bing77 joined. Canberra says, do you have tutorials that explain where to start from? Yeah, I mean, a couple of things you can look at. My fasttrackfba.com, go to the courses and free 7-day express course, or you can just go I think it's services. Check that out, or go to YouTube. You can go to my YouTube channel and look at the playlist. We'll have like getting started on Amazon. You can look at that. That will help you out. Like that's all free, so you can just join that. That's going to really help you out. So I think if you're thinking about getting started, then obviously do check those out. They're going to be a good resource for you. That's going to be very helpful. Free 7-day express course or YouTube. That's really good. Donna Sharif. Dr. Norif Sharif, right, Tom? Hi, Tom. Hope you're well. In the last video, V off-putting to start in the UK. Where are your thoughts? Very off-putting to start in the UK. I don't. Oh, what? In regards to selling, is this in regards to Gavin? I'm guessing you're talking about the Gavin. Is this the Gavin video, Dr. Nora Sharif? I'm guessing if you're talking about that, like he prefers it, and I get that. I had an interview last night, which will go next week, with someone who's actually doing UK, and they say like doing really well, really happy on it. There are pros and cons. There really are. There are going to be categories in the UK which are doing really well. There are categories in the USA which can do well. The USA is a bigger marketplace. We do generally see higher margins on it, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be selling on the UK. Not at all. I think the UK has a great opportunity. It's the third biggest marketplace in the world. Like there is opportunity there. You've just got to be able to find it. I know a lot of people who are doing very well on OA. Oh my God, sorry, in the UK. And the one thing which I'll say is the fact that obviously I'm still doing more money in the UK than I do in the USA. Our margin is a bit off, should we say not as high, but the idea is that it's still a very good marketplace to sell on. So like Dr. Noor Sharif, I hope that makes sense. Let me know if that answers your question specifically. Matt Jacqueline, give me 2 seconds. I want to jump over into YouTube and then I'll come back to your question. Let's kind of go through Old Bab. Which would you recommend? Raycon or top cashback? Depends. Look at them both. By the way, like, I'd really be looking at both of them, doing the comparison. There's another couple of ones which are like, oh my God, what are they? I'll see if I can find them on mine. I'm gonna have to try and load it up. It's probably gonna crash my computer. Be Frugal and Retail Me Not. Check those out. Be Frugal and Retail Me Not. There's two other ones that we use. I think we use Be Frugal quite a bit as well. I see cashback coming through that. Retail Me Not so much. But just like really look at what works. Rakuten's great for like if you're doing like certain shoes and things, like there's massive stuff in there. But I would mix and match between both of them. The one thing I'd say is if you are not based in the UK and you don't have a US PayPal, and you'll know that because it's default. You can't, where you if you're a non-UK resident, don't try and get the Rakuten cash out through a non-US PayPal because they'll detect that it's not a non-US PayPal and then they'll cancel your account. Had that happen to me, really, really annoying. So, but Rakuten or Top Cashback, it doesn't matter. Like, don't focus on one. Choose one with the best rate for the product you're doing. Both of them are pretty good. Lucas Gill mentioned. What adjustments did you find you had to make when starting out in the USA? Did you find the sort of products you were sourcing were quite different from the sorts of things? Generally, clothing, food, apparel is quite a big one on the USA. That's a consideration. Um, uh, I think in the UK we probably do more like grocery, should we say? Grocery and beauty. We probably do that in the USA. But clothing, shoes, and apparel is a massive section in the USA where it's not so much in the UK. That's a big opportunity, and that's like where Gavin talks about. So that's the only area that I'd probably say would be different. The rest of it would all be the same. Just that area would be different. So yeah, I think that's the only one. There's probably going to again, there's just because the market economy is like, or should we say the way it works, there's going to be like more opportunity in certain categories in the US versus the UK, and also vice versa. That's certainly an option. So I would think about that. Like, don't just solely stick yourself down to, should we say, doing like thinking they're the same. They're not. They have two different things. Let's kind of jump through. Matt said, I'm just going back up to Matt here. You can hopefully see it on the stream. I've just kind of scrolled up. Have it scrolled up? Yeah, I just scrolled up. Matt can see it on the thing. Matt says, bit vague question, but whoa, roughly, in your opinion, how much capital would you need to turn over 1 million in a year? Really simple. You can do the math. So if you work on a buy for 10, sell for 20, pardon me, buy for 10, sell for 20 model, 1 million is selling $500,000 worth of products. Selling $500,000 worth of products, you're going to be needing to do, what's that? 500, about 500,000. 500,000 divided by 12 is going to be what? 40, 500,000 per, of stock sold a year. If you divide that by monthly, that's about 41,600, call it 42,000, and then 42,000 multiplied by 3 months, for example, about 121,000 that you're going to need. I think, to be honest, and the one thing I'd probably say, depending on the way the model's working, what we generally tend to find is that the model of like buy for 10, sell for 20 is great, but the more revenue you do, that kind of gets eaten away at. So because you just can't find as many profitable products. So in regards to that, I would really think about like maybe it's a little bit higher, probably like 50,000 per month, not 42,000 per month. Hope that makes sense, Matt. Matt Jacklin. Let me know if that answers your question down below. But yeah, if you're talking about say 100, the math saying about 120,000, I'm probably saying like 150, maybe even up to 200,000. There's and by the way, that's because you're selling in 3 months. So I hope that makes sense. Jalid Rashid, 7, hey, KLMBK, Dornoff Shree's fantastic. Dr. Nora Shree, sorry. I am being 77, hey Tom, I am being, which is the best bank for sole trader? Don't know the answer, but a lot of people right now are in talk about Starling. They like Starling in the UK. Let me know if that's right, you're looking at UK. I am being 77. When are you going to start in Germany? Still to be decided. I had a good interview with someone who sells in Germany. They're like, it's a lot of administration. It's a lot of administration, and I don't mind it, but it's not so much about the administration. It's like we've got a lot going on right now. I've got 3 companies. We've got a lot of plans, and I'm not sure if the USA or Germany is going to be a big it's going to be a part of that, or if it's going to create more complexity. Again, like I don't even turn on EFN in the UK because it's complexity, and I don't want to do that. So when are we going to start in Germany? Not 100% sure. I will let you know. Let's kind of see Dr. Nora Sharif. Where are we? It's going really fast. Here we go. How can we access your guide to starting USA just for future reference? Fasttrackfba.com, services, courses. It's your services at the top, courses, and then getting started on USA. You can see that really, really simple. just go to the courses section. That's where it is. It's one of the courses I created. About £97, I think it is. Really good, really good course. I think you really like it. It's a great course. Cambras. Can we start off my? Can I start off my Amazon seller career instantly in the USA, even though I'm in a random small country in Europe? Yeah, no problem. As long as you're not on the restricted countries list that you can't sell, as long as you're not on the restricted countries list that you can't sell, then that's definitely something you can do. Like North Korea is on there, but to be honest, you can start selling from anywhere in the world so long as you're on the countries list. That's the important point. So yeah, no harm in that doing that at all. And obviously, if you want to use my Getting Started in USA course, that might help you out as well. It's based on someone from the UK, but generally you're going to be all right for the majority of places because we talk about creating a company in the USA, so you can definitely do that. Mishap Flips joined. Hey, Mishap Flips. I am being. Which bank account is the best for sole trader? I think we mentioned that one, Sterling. Let's go through ads FBA. What steps did you have to take as a UK seller to get started in the USA market, usually prep center partners? I did document it all in my Getting Started in USA course. Obviously, you can get that at Fast Track FBA courses, Getting Started in USA. I think I'm just going to play. Oh my God, I'm playing. I'm doing good at this. My thing's moving around. Oh no, didn't want to load that one up. So the one thing which I would say for you, got to move that back down again. Move that down. I'm good at this. There we go. And what steps did we have to take? So long story short, if I make it really quick, but you can learn every step by step, and I recorded videos of how to do it in my other one, is really what did we do? We did create an LLC about where we incorporated it. We get an EIN, we get an ITIN, we have a formation agent, we have a prep center, we have an accountant, we get the bank accounts. We then also talked about how we do credit cards, what we do with that and getting credit facilities. We talk about cashback providers, and I recommend that. So also I recommend the prep center. I talk about the prep centers, who we recommend and why. So definitely talk about that. That's in the Getting Started course, but they're the steps that we have to take. Also as well, email addresses and virtual phone numbers as well. That's one thing. Daniel Baker, do I have an ungated? Do I have to ungate most brands in beauty in the UK? I don't know. If you're gated them and you want to sell them, then I'd say yes. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, if you want to sell it, then yes. There's a lot of restricted branding beauty, but you probably understand why. High risk of fakes. Shaz S3, hey. Matt Jacklin, hey, no problem. So glad I could help. Let me just move that back down. I'm really good with this kind of like formatting. Like, is it showing properly? Yeah, let's bring that down. Tom's like playing around, getting it all wrong. There we go. How's that? Is that back in place? Well, hey, we're back in place. Cool. So guys, if you're on Instagram, do drop a question down below. I will answer them. So Julie mentioned here, when you order from a supplier in another country and the total does not include VAT, how do you pay taxes? Do you have to pay taxes to the government of your country or to the government of that country? So the way it will work, you need to basically speak to your supplier because there's a couple of ways they can do it. And you need to speak to them and find out what they're saying, should we say, or the way they're going to deal with it. So there's kind of really two ways. If they ask you for your VAT number, then what they'll do is they will sell it to you at also 0%, or it'll be like their local rate reverse charge, EC reverse charge, which basically means in effect, if you think about it this way, if there's a buyer and a seller, we both charge VAT on top of our prices, and then the buyer will pay the VAT and then reclaim the VAT off the government. So the seller will add VAT onto his product, he'll pass that VAT over to the seller, or should I say, the seller will pass the VAT over to the buyer, and then the buyer will reclaim that from the government. That's the way it works. But when you do inter-country transfers, the way it works is we would have VAT added on by the seller, but what actually happens is that they record it and they say, we're not adding VAT on because we're selling it to another business, and we know that because they're VAT registered in the EU. But then the other business should have to declare that VAT to the VAT man and to say we should have paid this amount of VAT and obviously reclaim it, but we're not going to, but we haven't. That's the way it works. That's the way for EC reverse charge, which is business to business, and you'll know that because they'll generally ask you for a VAT number. The other way, which is probably more likely to happen because you're probably buying from retail stores, is the fact that they won't pay, they'll just charge you VAT at the local rate. And if they charge you VAT at the local rate, you can't claim it back from the UK government. You have to go claim it back from the government in that you paid it to in question. So if you bought it from a supplier in France and they charge it, I don't know, 19%, for example, I'm not saying it is, then you'll have to claim it back from the French government. You can't claim it from the UK government. That's the way it works. It's quite annoying, but generally you want to speak to the supplier and find out. So I hope that makes sense. Just going to jump back over to Instagram. Question coming in. Daniel Baker, can you recommend us to ungate brands in the beauty category? Yeah, sure. I just really go recommend Harrison's Direct. Like really simple. They sell like some brands. They'll sell the brand names. You can just call them up and say, hey, can I buy 10 units of this? And they're going to be like, yeah, fine, absolutely no problem. So I checked that out. I think that'd be quite a beneficial one. Harrison's Direct are really good. Yeah, I don't think I can do some US ones if people want to know. One second, let me just kind of get back to this. Guys, if you've got questions, do drop them down. Really, let me know if that answers your question down below. I'm just going to quickly go over to Instagram. Munrunner930. Need coffee first. Is there a way to claim output VAT from ISO sold to EU countries when we are not VAT registered? I don't think so, no. VAT has to be charged on all. I don't know. I don't know the exact question. I don't know the exact answer technically. Let me just put it this way: I don't know it from a non-VAT perspective. You'd need to speak to your accountant, or I'd probably go call an accountant and find out that, hey, I'm thinking about coming for you. Oh, quick question, by the way, ISO VAT, how can we reclaim it? I would probably guess not, because Amazon might be charging it for you for the cost of service. I'm not sure how it really works or what it's charged on. If Amazon are adding it on, then obviously it's a fee that Amazon are paying, which has VAT, and they have to charge it. I hope that makes sense. Like, I'm guessing, don't quote me, I'm not 100% sure. So that's an interesting thing. So I would check that out. But yeah, I don't think, if Amazon are adding it on, there's not a way to do it if you're not VAT registered, I believe. I'm not 100% sure on that one. Pang says, if I have 10K to start, how much money should I spend on the first purchase and how many SKUs do you recommend to start with? The best way I kind of look at it is 10K. Never spend more than 5% in any one product. So if you're going to do it that way, it'll be about £500. So no more than $500, £500 in any one product. That'd be my advice. I'm not saying you should go spend £500 or $500 on any one product, but what I am saying is that you probably want to spend like 100, maybe 200 on per product, but don't go higher than 500 to any one product. Why? Because you are likely to have problems. So 5%, you might want to even go down to like 3%, 2.5%. 2.5% of your asset value, never invested more. So don't spend any more than like 250 per product. Why? Because you're going to see a good deal and you're going to think it's a really good deal, and it probably isn't, and you're going to buy loads and then realize that you've made a big mistake. So that's going to help protect you. Later on you can spend a bit more, but generally even now I never spend any more than like 3% of our asset value on any one SKU. So I hope that makes sense. How many SKUs do you recommend with? Well, obviously do the maths. If you've got if it's 3%, what's that, 33 different SKUs, for example, for 10K at least. That's what I'd say at a minimum. Maybe a good idea. If you are a UK taxpayer with an LLC Amazon USA, are you taxed in the USA or UK? Good question. I do talk about it in my course, what you need to understand, but at a fundamental level, an LLC is known as an entity. And an entity, by the way, I'm not a tax advisor. Do speak to a tax advisor. An LLC is an entity, and my understanding of it, the way I understand it, because again, I can't say that this is the truth because I'm not a tax advisor and everyone's situation might be different, for example, is you will be taxed on any money you withdraw from the LLC to your persons, which would be taxable, definitely. But if money sits in the LLC, then as far as I'm aware, there would be no tax liable unless you gained from it personally. That would be where the tax is due. So I hope that makes sense, but it's really about withdrawing money rather than doing it. And by the way, when you talk about LLCs, you can structure them different ways, what's called like pass-through entities, C Corps, S Corps, should we say trading company or sole trader. Effectively, it's not really sole trader, it's something else. That's something to consider. So there's lots of different ways of taxing it, and again, it's like it's quite a hard answer to ask. It's complex. So I hope that makes sense. Mr. Allison Jr., I'd love to be one of those 20 people. Fantastic. Check out, by the way, if you guys are wanting to know, I'm looking right now, we've reopened our Fast Track FBA 7-figure academy. It's the Fast Track FBA Seller Academy, where I basically teach the same framework I built my 2 companies on. So, UK, USA, it's all my sourcing mastery, my purchasing mastery, my admin mastery, my also business mastery is all the frameworks, what I do, how we tackle it all. We're always developing it and supporting our team. And I'm getting in contact with you as well and supporting you every single week. You get also weekly live calls for my sources, purchasing managers, admin, and myself as well. There's unlimited, so there's no cap on that, and you can attend all of those. So we're really here to help you and support you and grow your business through the framework which I use, which just kind of simplifies the process. If you want to look at build a simplified business with a team, this is going to be the way to do it. Honestly, check it out, fasttrackfba.com/seller, or you can just look at the Seller Academy on the Fast Track FBA website. But Mr. Alston Jr., I hope obviously good. I hope to see you in there as well. Check it out. Let's go through. Thanks, Thomas. Makes sense. I'll stop selling on EU countries now. I think for you, good answer is check it out yourself. See if it's going to work. That's the most important point. Let's kind of go through a couple of questions coming on Instagram. Sorry, I've been on the other one on YouTube. Let's come through. How do you know how many units to buy of each product? Long story short is what I generally tend to do is I do it in kind of waves. Wave 1 is do your profit calculations, absolutely fine. Number 2, or should you say, do your profit calculations and then work out the listing sales per month, and then I will take the number of sellers on the listing on or around the buy box, and then that will give me a number. So for example, if it's a profitable product, fantastic. It's selling 100 units per month and there are 9 sellers. So you add one more on because I'm going to be an additional seller. That makes 10. So 100 units divided by 10 equals 10. So 10 units each. Fantastic. The next one I'll do on top of that, so once I've got the 10 number, I'll look at the competitor stock. If all the competitors are around 10, I'll probably leave it at that. If the competitors are over 10, I might bring mine down. If they're really over 10, I'll definitely bring it down. But if they're under 10 units of stock, I'll probably bring mine up. Why? Because they're likely to sell out and I'll have a good chance of obviously selling more. That's generally how I do it. I do have a couple of videos on how to do it on YouTube as well. Let's go jump through Alan Pang. Hey Alan, if I have 10K to start, how much money was the first purchase and how many SKUs recommended? Alan, I think I answered that on Instagram, but I will answer again. 10K, really simple. I said no more than 5%, so that'd be £500 dollars on, or no more than 500 on each SKU. But I'd probably recommend you spend no more than 200 to 250 on each SKU. Why? You want a diverse range of products. Don't go too deep until you've got experience. So I hope that makes sense. Gig says, would you recommend getting an admin VA as soon as you come back registered? Maybe. I think maybe. But I'd probably say, look, I'm not going to say that you're going to need to hire a VA straight away to do everything. I think my real question for you is about the idea is to say that you should be thinking about, is it the right time to hire? Do I, am I struggling with the admin side? If I outsource that element, would I then be able to get somewhere else? I think one of the big things that I really think about is, don't think about right now. Think about where your business will be in 1-2 years time. Start with that vision of what it looks like. If you want to know, like, obviously I have a team, we do the structure, 1 purchaser, 3 sources, 1 admin. Think about where it's going. What does that team look like? And then I think the question I would ask is about if an admin VA is part of that structure, then the answer isn't of do I need to get one? Is like, I will get one, but the next question is when. Then once you understand it's when, then the next question I'd be asking is about when is the right time. So if it's your first hire an admin VA, I probably wouldn't recommend. I'd probably do sourcing. Number 2 is, if you feel it's going to free up time now and allow you to focus on high value tasks, absolutely fine. I think that's a really good opportunity. But again, it's got to be right for you. I think I could do a lot of work around trying to help you understand when I think a good time is to hire. And when generally, what do I look at when I do it? I'd probably say admin VA would be towards the end. So I probably have 2, if not 3 sourcing VAs by this time. And then I would be doing, and by the way, I'd probably be outsourcing all the sourcing before I'd look at doing an admin VA. That would be the kind of way I'd look. So check that. That would be my thought process behind it. Why? Because I'd be looking to build a team and I'd be looking at doing my purchasing manager, my admin VA last. That would be my thought process. Hope that makes sense, Gigs. Old Bab says, I'm looking for 20 people to teach my framework. Tell us more about it. So if I just talk you through, at a very simplistic level, I believe in the fact that you can build a business whereby the majority of the work is being done by a team, i.e., should we say, you're not working in the business, you're working on it. A really good analogy is, do you see Jeff Bezos going around to the warehouses and packing products? Yes, when he first started, but no, he hired a team and built it out. And I believe that, like, for me, I'm not building this business to have another job. I'm building this business so that I can have a business which I own, and I'm a business owner, not a business operator. Now, it's not to say that I can't operate. It's about that I will get to the point whereby, or I have got to the point whereby, I can operate the business on a very small number of hours a week. If I generally say anything less than 5 a week or 5 hours a week, you've pretty much got a business running very efficiently and running well, and you're good. So that's what I teach. I teach how to build a business, how to scale it, how to grow it, how to build the right people. I teach all the structures that we use, all the accountability, all the metrics we track. Literally, we use the USS in the sheet. You can see everything you get down here. So it has like all my 4 courses. It has a USS. It has a lead service. It has the weekly support calls. It has my team supporting you. And the goal is really, what we want to do is we want to give you everything that's worked for us, everything that's happening, and the goal is that you can just replicate that. And the goal is that you're going to have that outsourced business that's working for you. And by the way, you're never going to be able to get free. Like, you're never going to not work, but you will be able to do it in a few hours a week. And if you want to, like, by the way, then if you want to work on other areas of the business, improve it, maybe another opportunity, or maybe refine the process and make it better, you can do it, but you are not needed there day to day. You're not in the purchasing, you're not in the admin, you're not doing the sourcing. Your team do that. You help them get better at that. That's your job, but it isn't to do it day to day. And if you want to take a week off, a month off, you can definitely do that. And we have ways, and I literally show you, this is how you have the meeting. Here's step by step what you have. Here's every single minute of every meeting you have. Here's the dashboard for the sourcer. Here are the 7 metrics we track for the sourcer. Here's how to get those metrics in, like, I think about 5 minutes. You can get all the numbers you need in 5 minutes. By the way, you don't do it, they do it, they put it on. Here's how the metrics, the KPIs that we track for a purchaser. Here's a job description. Here's a purchaser, absolutely fine. All these things we have, and we put them all together into this, and it's just here to support you. And if you get any problems, like, we support you with that as well. So you get basically 4 calls a week. You get to speak to my team directly. How do you do this? 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 My team will answer all these questions. If you're interested and you want to know more, fasttrackfba.com/seller, or just fasttrackfba.com. You can see Seller Academy. You'll be on the front page. You do have to book a call with my team. We're not looking just to take on anyone. We do want to make sure you're the right person as well, because I think that's the most important thing, to say that the people who we take into the community, that we learn, and we're looking for 20 people that I can help teach, then they're going to be the right people who've got realistic expectations. Not like, I've had many people go, Tom, can I give you, like, I don't know, $100,000 and you build me a business and make it work? I'm like, no, not in a million years. You've got to do this. Business is your business. You have to make it work. So I hope that makes sense. But Bab, if you want to see more, fasttrackfba.com, have a look at fasttrackfba.com and the Seller Academy /seller. You'll see it. Jesse V, thank you as always. Jesse, thank you, and well done for beating me today. Sorry for running late. I'm like, oh, need sleep. Bab, how much is it, if you don't mind asking? How is it taught? Videos or live calls or both? So we teach it predominantly on video, so you can do it at your own time. But there is, every single week you have a question. You can go around Q&A. So, like, if there's something you're struggling with, you will be able to get you can literally ask my team. You're asking the people who do this every single day. Like, if you ask me, hey Tom, like, I'm having a problem with my admin, like my IP complaints, like, what do I do here? I'd be like, I kind of have an idea, but I really recommend speaking to my admin team, because it's in the admin mastery course. They will help you out with it. That's what they do every single day. They know exactly what to do. They have all the templates. It works. They can share about that sort of thing. Price-wise, the price changes depending on what packages you bought with us in the past. So you'd have to book a call with my team and find that out. But do check it out, fasttrackfba.com/seller, and obviously you can book a call with my team. And I say 2 things. Obviously, the price changes depending on what you bought previously, because we don't want to charge you. We want to give you a discount for saying thank you for being a loyal customer, thank you for buying these products. And obviously, we don't want you to feel like you're buying it again, so we'll give you a discount on that. And then number 2 is the fact that we just want to make sure you're the right person that's going to help out. So do check it out, fasttrackfba.com, and obviously speak to my team. And they'll just kind of have a conversation with you and see if it's going to be right for you. And by the way, I've my team has said, hey Tom, we had someone cool, they really wanted to join, but I don't think they're ready, so I recommend that they do this instead. And I was like, fantastic. It's not like a hard sell at all. It's really like, we want to help you out. So I hope that makes sense. Gigs, I'll do gigs, and we're going to jump over to Instagram after that, because I appreciate a message has come in, but I don't know where it's gone. I can't see it. It's on my phone. I'll read it. Aston, I can see it. I will do that in a second. Oh, no, load that up. Sorry, having a good day. Let's go and jump back over to this question here, Gigs. At what point in my business would you suggest purchasing the USS? I have about 40 SKUs at the moment. I think the question comes is it's really up to you. So I think when you're like, look, I've got quite a lot of inventory I'm managing right now, SKUs, purchasing. I'm starting to like seeing a bit of struggle, or like I will be struggling quite soon. I think that's about an ideal time. By the way, if you've got like 200, 300 SKUs, you can certainly buy the USS, absolutely fine. But I do think at that time, that's really good. You know, it's about you when you're like, look, my current systems aren't really working. The one good thing about the USS is that it gives you insights into the way you operate. There's a lot of really good kind of way process driven things that we do, which speed up everything that you do and give you insights into the way you're selling. I really like that. It's so beneficial. Lots of people are using it and find it. Like the USS is one of these products where people are like, what does it do? And then they go, it kind of helps you with everything. It helps you with your sourcing, helps you with your analytics, and it helps you with, it's all arbitrage based. And it just helps with your process management, especially around VAs. They say, but I couldn't live without it. I've had that so many times. It's such a good tool. So, and also the API connection makes everything so much simpler. So you can just click and upload to Amazon straight away. So I hope that makes sense. But really, I think it's when you're like getting to or are starting to struggle with managing the amount of purchasing you're doing, it's going to speed everything up. I promise you that will speed everything up. I'll try quickly jump over to Instagram. Ashton, as mentioned, and I can see it down here, but for some reason it's not showing up here, if that makes sense. So we'll answer that one. 2 seconds. As mentioned, I guess you have come to a point where you actually know what you're talking about, etc. It's okay to have a team, but if you're really not clued up, you don't know, and if they're doing a good job. Yeah, I think it's a really good question. So like, if you have a team and they know that they're doing stuff, they're like Jeff Bezos doesn't get into the nitty gritty of the warehouse. He understands the concept of how the warehouse works, and he understands it from like a high level, I'm guessing, and he understands like how it should operate. But like the very nitty gritty of it, he doesn't really get into. But he doesn't need to. He has good people that does it. But he can also, but he understands it well enough that he can answer good questions. And I think for me, the question is I have people who do sourcing, admin, and purchasing. It's a very simple structure. I like that. It scales really well. You know, we've built 2 companies off that very simple structure, and the net result is that I have experts in the fields. I understand what they're doing. It can, you know, at a high level, I can ask them questions, and we can have good conversations. But do I get involved in the administration today? No. Do I get involved in the sourcing? No, not at all. Do I get involved in the purchasing decisions? No. Can I question the purchasing decisions and have a good discussion about them? Of course, absolutely fine. So I have that domain knowledge, but I'm not doing it day to day. Like people ask me, like, Tom, what's your favorite sourcing method? And I'll tell you what I think. But like, I will be honest and say I've not sourced for probably years, which, you know, kind of puts it in perspective. It's not something that I'm focusing on. So I hope that makes sense. But good question, Aston. I don't know why my Instagram doesn't want to load. I'll just kind of I'll refresh that and see what happens. It's going to crash. It's going to crash. Blockchain Society. Yo, Tom, out of interest, do you base how much you buy on turnover time, i.e. buy enough stock to base on estimated sales to last you 8 weeks? Yes, 4 weeks. We do a month. That's it. And by the way, like, we're quite aggressive with clearing down our stock. So I think if you want to know, if you do this, Seller Central, inventory planning, and there's days inventory. If you want to compare how well your stock is managed to mine, in the UK right now, I think we're on 60, maybe 62. I posted it on Twitter the other day, 62. The idea is that 60 is about the goal we're trying to maintain. You can go up and down, but that tells you how much days inventory you got. So we'll look at that. Now, what's Amazon saying? Amazon's saying that we have 60 days worth of inventory in Amazon's warehouses right now. Now, just remember, I just said I also only buy 4 weeks worth of stock, 1 month. So we buy with the vision of we're going to have 1 month's worth of stock. But when you come to the actual result of what's being analytic or what's happening, we actually probably holding 2 months worth of stock. So we can kind of understand what's going on there. So that if we went and bought 2 months worth of stock, would that go to 3 or would it go to 4? Would it double? So we don't know the answer, but we're not really looking to increase that. So generally about the 4 weeks of where we're seeing the pretty good metrics that we look at. So I hope that makes sense, and let me know if you get any questions. Let's go and jump through. T Clapson, hey Tom, you said last time you were given your purchaser their own credit cards to buy with. Do you just tell them Amex and you want another card for someone else in the Philippines. So they have a couple of things. Capital on Tap will allow you to do your own cards. Amex will allow you to do your own cards, as in like employee cards. So you can do that. We do that. That works absolutely fine. So we have those questions, we have those thoughts, and they are there to, should we say, help, like to give each purchaser a card. The idea behind it is that each purchaser will have their own cards wherever possible for fraud detection purposes, for responsibility. That's what we're going to do. They all have their own telephone numbers that they can get two-factor authentication codes through. So we have all of that. That's something that we do. So definitely have their own credit cards that they can buy from. Just want to put a big shout out to anyone on Instagram, Pesty Knight and Jay Clacton. I can see you. You're on my phone. Aston just mentioned, thank you for the answer. So the stock is just being brought from normal stores and not wholesale. That's correct. Yeah, only OA. So these two stores right here, we do like 3 million and 1 million, or 1.2, I think it is now in the US. They're only OA. So online stores, no wholesale. There is about 100,000 in wholesale in there, but we stopped wholesale. So you can do both of these. It works quite well. It's just OA. I really like that, and I think that's really good. So yeah, that's just normal stores, wholesale. I really like that. So that's it, no wholesale. Normal stores, no wholesale, like online, like kind of like Walmart and Boots, for example. No, we don't buy from Boots, but that's the thing. Hope that makes sense. Oh, Bab, did you teach that Gravy guy? No, I didn't. Gravy taught himself. Really smart guy. But by the way, I do network with people around me. Do have good conversations around them, so I really like them. So that's really good. But Gravy's a great guy. He obviously did OA. Now he moves over to wholesale. I think he's done a really good job, and take my hat off to him. So I think absolutely fantastic. He's doing a great job. Guys, if you've got questions, I've got about 9 minutes left. Drop them down below. So we'll answer them. So let's go through jury. Hi Tom, which one of the EU suppliers can you recommend to buy cheaper prices for wholesale? I have no idea. Like I don't do wholesale. I can't recommend anything. I'm really sorry. Yeah, it's the only one we really use for wholesale is Harrison's Direct in the UK, and that's just for ungating. That's it. We've used other wholesalers like West Coast, Exertis, Tech Data. They're all big IT distributors. We've access to them, but that's in the past. Like I don't use them anytime in the last like 3 years at all. So, but again, they're not even cheaper. IT is a horrendous market to get into. I would never recommend it. It's so hard. So yeah, I hope that makes sense, Julie. AJ, can you explain what you mean when you say you don't spend more than 5% on one product? Yeah. So quick short for you. Think about it this way. Let's just call you've got £100, $100 or something. You got $100, $100, and you're starting Amazon right now, and you're going sourcing. $100 is about, let's call it 1,000. Now you find a product that you like. Well, hey, great, fantastic. What you're going to do is you want to buy some of that product, but you might be like, wow, it's a really good product. I'm excited. It's going to make me all this money. So you're like, how much do I buy? Well, there's generally, as you get bigger, it doesn't really become a problem. But when you're just starting out, one of the biggest problems you're going to get is you spend too much of your money on a product that you think is good that isn't. And what you're doing is a real danger zone, which is really common. Number one, you think it's a good product, you go out and you go out and buy lots of this product. Let's call it like half of that. $1,000 you now spent $500, fantastic, and then you get it into Amazon, and guess what? Maybe it's the wrong product, the listing wasn't right, or perhaps maybe you didn't realize that you needed a certain document, or it had an IP brand on it, because you don't know these things, you only just started out. Or perhaps maybe Amazon jumps on the listing because maybe you couldn't know that, but it just happens. Now, all of a sudden, Amazon's on the listing selling that product for half the price that you sold it for, under the price you even bought it for. What do you do? Like, what do you do? Like, you've now just invested half of your cash in something, and you're going to have to take a loss. So it's a really big problem that we see, especially when you're first starting out, because you don't understand what a good deal is, or like how to spot the bad deals, which is really trying to protect yourself. So when we say no more than 5% of your product, is why? Because what we say is, or what I think about is like, when you, in any typical week or month or year, you're going to buy a range of products. Some of those products are going to do really well, some are going to do as expected, some are going to do bad, and some are going to do awful. Now, if you've bought an awful one by accident, spent too much of your money, you've now got a problem. So my advice, don't spend more than 5% of your asset value on any one product. I think that's a good kind of advice, because Amazon will come on the listing one day, and they're going to come onto your product, and they're going to crash the price, and you're going to have to get out, and you're going to have to sell for a loss. It does happen. I've seen it time and time again for myself. AJ, let me know if that answers the question down below. Guys, if you're on Instagram, I've got about 5 minutes left. Drop your questions. I can see you. It's just not working on this side, which is a bit frustrating. But can I click on that? Does that work? Right, I don't think I can help you out. So what do we got here? Oh, it's coming through. Well, hey, let's go and just get rid of my support online. I say it's coming through. Oh no, it's not really updating. Fine. So I've tried opening a UK seller account. It seems to have, it seems to have approved for America, Canada, Mexico, but it's pending for UK for days now. Any ideas how to fix this? I don't. Message Seller Central. That's all I can recommend. And you say days. You might have to wait a week or two. But it should be pretty quick. Yeah, like you might need to go, like you need to change over, go into it, give it a few more days, give it a week, and then if not, I'd raise a case as a central and ask them what you need to do. So that would be my kind of thoughts, get it right, Tom, thoughts. Let's go and jump through Alan Pang. How do you ungate products when you don't have an invoice from a wholesale supplier? The only other way you could possibly do it is by selling enough products that your revenue's high enough that Amazon will let you auto ungate. And by that is that you try and ungate and it just does some background checks and goes, don't worry about it, fine. But there's no guarantee on that. We don't know exactly how you do it. Generally, what we see is the more revenue we do, the better we do. So if you are looking at doing it for like wholesale, but generally speaking, you need wholesale. The only other way of doing it, which is even harder, is getting a letter from the manufacturer or brand owner that you're allowed to sell on their behalf. That's like, I don't really know people who do that. So really, that's going to be like the Apples of the world. So I think for you, the point that I would ask is just get the invoice from wholesaler. It's not very hard. I know, like Alan, you're probably sitting again like, oh, it's really hard to get wholesaler. It's not. It's really, really not. Like I promise you. Like in the grand scheme of things, it's nothing. E-distribution in the US and Harrison's Direct in the UK. Call them up. They'll be the right kind of people, things that you want to do. That would be really helpful. Guys, if you've got any more questions, drop them down below. What I will say is this is going to be my last live for this week, and I will not be back until next Wednesday. Why? I'm traveling. I'm going to be making it back to I'm going to be making it back to the UK. So I'm going to be traveling from like Manila, where I am right now, to Qatar. Then I go to Madrid, and then I fly over to Mexico City. And there's like, by the way, I have to change time zones. Right now it's 7 a.m. in the morning for me. I'm going to have to get back to 7 p.m. at night for the same time right now. So I'm going back to Mexico. I'm changing time zones. I'm doing lots of like 8 to 9 hour flights at least. Maybe I think one of them's like 10 hours over the Atlantic. So it's going to be a long, long, long journey back. So just be mindful if you've got any more questions, do drop them in now, but I won't be back until next Wednesday. I know, long, 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 long day. So obviously do just let me know if you've got any final questions, ask me now. Aston on Instagram did just drop a quick message in. I can see it down here. That amazes me how much you can make on OA. Do you only buy reduced items or normal price? And a lot of our products will be normal price. Some will be reduced. We use voucher codes. We'll you clearance sections, but a lot of stuff will just be normal price. So by the way, we do like 3 and 1. This 1 million is in USA. I have a friend of mine in year 2. He did 10 million just buying stuff online, like shoes, like in the USA. Incredible. So much opportunity out there. And by the way, I know people outside of that who are doing more than that, probably looking double that amount. So just be mindful, you can do a lot of cash on this, build a team, get a good process and systems. It works really, really well. So I hope that makes sense. Old Bab says, have a good one, mate. I will do. Guys, what I will say is if you are obviously thinking about Seller Academy and you obviously want to copy my 7-figure framework, do check out here, fasttrackfba.com/seller. I am looking just for 20 people. We will close it after you've done that, or I do close next, I think it's Thursday. Next Thursday is the last day you can book in for it. You can't do it any later than that. So if you haven't booked in a call with my team, you won't be able to do it. So I hope that makes sense. You're going to Mexico before the UK? Is that just traveling for air miles? No, I live in Mexico. So I'm going Manila, Qatar, Madrid, Mexico City. I'm in Mexico City for 2 weeks. Then I fly out to Miami, and then I need to go do some visa stuff in the US, and then I need to come back to Mexico. Then I'll probably go to Denver in the US again in mid-April, and then I might come to the UK late April after that. How long, I don't know. It's certainly an opportunity, something to think about. But really, we're going to be, I'm going to be looking at. Like the UK is only to come back, really see family, and obviously to network and to share the journey with people. Like home's Mexico, that's where my home is. So definitely spending a lot of time there. The weather is a lot nicer here right now. It's really, really cold. So Terry, I hope that makes sense. But obviously lots of air miles, got to rack them up. I think I've got 500,000 points on Capital on Tap to spend, and still like maybe 500,000 to three-quarters of a million across all the other pods. I spent a lot this trip. I've been away for a month now in January in the Philippines. It's a long, long, long time. So yeah. Right, ladies and gentlemen, it's coming up to the time. If you are looking to scale your business, do check out Fast Track FBA Seller Academy, fasttrackfba.com/seller. Obviously, that's going to help you out as well. What I do want to say is, if you like today's live, hit the like button. I won't be back tomorrow. Next week, I'm going to be back. Please get that in mind. Next week, I'll be back. So just want to say a big thank you. Give me some thumbs up. Give me some love. Show me that you like the live. That is worth having 4 hours sleep to come wake you. So I just want to say a big thank you to all of you asking questions, joining today. And it's been really, really good. So everyone, stay safe. And I'll catch you next week on Wednesday. See you next week. Bye.